Welcome to the garden between us, where healers gather and meet to increase the healings of themselves and others around them. Today is a very integral topic to the philosophy that drives this podcast, this community, this movement. It is total health integration. Total health integration came about while I was talking to a colleague, a psychologist, a clinical psychologist, and we're about to start these gatherings. And he goes, "So, are they all going to be psychologists like me? Are they psychologists that are interested in these alternative methods that, although are very scientifically based and actually do work, are still, you know, so foreign to other psychologists? Because that's what I want. You know, us healers who are actually looking to make meaningful impact in someone's lives more than allowing someone to cope, we often feel isolated." And I reassured him that this is a community where he will not be isolated. He'll actually commune, that there'll be a diverse group of people from diverse backgrounds as far in terms of religion and ethnicity and all that. Because when you're pulling from like true the cream of the crop, you're going to get from every single background. That's how it works. Then our professions and our interests come differently. How there are psychologists like him, how there are people who make healthy foods, have products in the realm of water, in the realm of herbs, that there is actual people with doctorates who prescribe herbs and supplements from high-end companies. People who own detoxification clinics, so these business owners, these actual medical practitioners, and then those who are students and those who are mothers who want to raise their kids in a complete holistic way, from really concerning what their kids consuming food wise, water wise, socially, education, their experiences with technology and their experience with nature. Goes, "Oh, I got it. This is a total integration of health. You're including everyone. I love it. That's what we need." Today, I wrote out an article in order to help communicate this message of what total health integration is. Now, what is total health integration? I broke it down to 3 subjects: the content and the context, individual, group, community, mental, physical, psychological, emotional, environmental, and all these modes of health. And that brought us to our conclusion. What is total health integration? This is what's really going to help you get to the place in life that you want to be at. A lot of us go from one practitioner to the next, and they're selling us on what they've been sold to teach. It's not necessarily healing us. It's not creating that solid person of integrity that we are wishing to really become. Something that goes beyond healing our wounds and creating a full-fledged human being, full-fledged, a fledgling that stretches out the wings, ready to fly at their highest potential. We begin with content and context. Before we go in there, we have a message from our sponsor. Today's video is brought to you by, Chaga Chai. Chaga Chai is one of Casey's Creations products. Chaga Chai is an immune boosting instant chai. It has an organic masala blend of many herbs from cardamom, cinnamon, cloves, all the way down to turmeric, ginger, coriander, black pepper, to give us a full immune boosting vitality mix. Combined with chaga mushroom. In replace of the caffeinated black tea, we have chaga mushroom extract, dandelion, and chicory, because that goes into everything, because we're getting down to the root of health, to this delicious tasting chai tea. How does one make it, especially when they're getting such a small container? Well, it's an instant powder All you need is 3/4 of a teaspoon. Yes, a teaspoon, not a tablespoon. You mix in some hot water and milk, about 8 ounces, and you sweeten it to your liking. So there's no milk or sugar that's diluting this powder. It's pure healing herbs. You make it to your liking, and as a simple way to incorporate healing herbs into your daily routine with things we're familiar with that we get at Dunkin' Donuts and Starbucks. Now in a healing form. You can get that chaga chai at shroomsofstability.com. Link will be in the description. That's right. When you buy our products, we're not getting payment from outside sponsors. You are actually buying directly from myself and my company. So you get something, we get something, and then we're able to continue providing this content for you so you can have a total health integration. And yes, these herbal products are part of that. Now back to the show. Content and context. This concept came from Hugh Lovell, the inventor of quantum agriculture. So this is a quantum concept here. So the content is everything within our being, and the context, everything without. So healing happens both within and without. Content refers to the work we do within ourselves and the substances we ingest, the foods, the herbs that we ingest, the water that we ingest, as well as all the thoughts and the feelings that we have internally. How we regulate those is the content. And then the context refers to the environment that we're in, how we interact with that world. So we can learn how to interact with our environment, which means that if we have a clean ecosystem, and if we engage with healthy individuals who are clean themselves and are able to, elevate your being and bring out this positive version of yourself, you are now being influenced in the right direction towards a total health integration via your context. So you have to worry about what's happening on the inside and the outside. Means if you want to eat healthy food, right? Here's an example. It's the content that's being put into your body, and there's content within that fruit. How does the content get in that fruit? What are we talking about? We're not talking about just fat, sugar, and proteins. We're talking about those micro and macronutrients. We're talking about properly formulated hormones and amino acids that are within this food that's going to contribute to our health. Now, how does that get in there? Well, that now comes from the soil and what's in there and the life that's in that soil and what they're able to formulate from the material world and what they're able to formulate into the organic world and then give to that fruit. And then that gives to us and allows us to develop within our own content. So our content is directly related to the health of our context. The food that's on the outside, which is related to the food that it eats from the soils and the clean water and the clean air. Which means to have the healthiest content within ourselves, we need the healthiest food and the healthiest nature. The more we take care of nature, the more we take care of ourselves. There's always this relationship. The more you help the outside world, the more you help your in. And that's the same thing with developing socially as a person, which is your ability to interact with the context. So we know sometimes it's our own behaviors and actions we can label as, oh, I'm bipolar, oh, I'm anxious, oh, I'm an introvert, I'm this and that. And then we can go looking for a pill cure for that. But let's address what we're really saying. We're not saying we have this problem. It's this problem. We're meaning it's making us difficult interacting within ourselves and feeling comfortable with our bodies. It makes it difficult to interact with other people because we might pull out negative things, and then we have bickering and arguing. When we're going to ask someone for what we need, we're not able to get that, or we're not even able to ask them. So these are the real things that we're trying to heal when we're healing these mental issues. But to develop these healthy social skills, we must surround ourselves with people who have these healthy social skills. Not all of us had the fortune of growing up with parents and siblings and aunts and uncles who had healthy social skills. A lot of it was learned. I started realizing, hey, these mental disorders that my family have are behavioral patterns that I picked up. So am I really this content of someone with these disorders a psychologist wanted to tell me? Or am I reflecting the context that I was brought up in? No, I actually had some good, stable social skills to learn from. There's still a lot of pain and suffering that's been passed on from all of our relatives that had to come here to America for awful, tragic reasons. But now, as adults, we can surround ourselves in a healthier context. And the more kind, compassionate, and caring we are with those around us, the healthier they will be. That's easy to recognize. So the healthier they will be because the healthier we're acting, because we're kind, we're caring, and we're compassionate. Well, that means we're around healthier people. Bingo. The more we give, the more we will receive. But always, again, protect yourself. Make sure you're not giving without receiving. These people may not be healthy enough to lift yourself up. So give then to those who are healthier than you. And we're going to go into that, into the individual, group, and community. What I hope you get from content and context is really total health integration. It is the full embodiment of what's inside and the relationship to the outer, which is total health integration, which is way more than specialized practices like psychology and going to your regular doctor for your checkups when you have the flu and all that. There's way more to it. It's way more than going to a nutritionist. It's way more. There are some important lessons we're going to get from the last part. Now, individual, group, and community. Because we are individuals and we gather in small groups, and then we can be part of larger communities. Starting with the individual, there's work that requires us to be alone. Yes, there's work that requires you to be in communion with others. Yes. And often it feels like we're fed contradictory information on this subject. Especially if you're into YouTube like I am, and I certainly used to be a lot more. All these people, work hard, focus on yourself, self-development, grind alone, shut out everyone else, just be yourself, don't reach out to others. Yeah, it's true. Work has to come from within, and we can learn from within and our own, and we must be true to ourselves above all else. And we must heal ourselves before we can help others. That's another thing that's been taught. Oh, well, all right, well, if I got to heal myself before, heal others, oh, if we're all healers and I'm a healer, I could heal myself, then, I don't need to interact with others yet. But then again, the other side is seek out teachers, seek out mentors, seek out people you want to be like, hang out with those people, and there are a lot of services out there, health services that exist to help us. And, well, they're like real certified healers with experience. We're not those people. We're not those healers. So it has this dual nature. We have to accept both. Sometimes we have to trust ourselves, but we can reach out to those who are healthier than us. So the answer is as simple as you have to be committed to do the work. You're the one actually doing the work. And you have to intuitively know what is right for you. You're surrounded with people you'd like to be more like that can help you on that process by providing skills and services, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually with you. And then going back, we have to be aware that a lot of us are disconnected from our own intuition, and will continually choose to display negative behavioral patterns that we believe are healthy, and that are, that is who I am. This is how I act and socialize in the world. It's a very unhealthy place to come from. So we're talking about all the behaviors that you're doing, from the way you socialize, the way you speak, the way you act, the way you think, um, the way you clean up, you clean yourselves and feed yourselves, and all these. We're so ingrained in these patterns that we'll make so many excuses to keep those and not realize we have to change those. So being around others who actually have these healthy patterns, we have to be open-minded to say, oh, well, let me open myself to new levels of patterns of behavior from those who are healthier. If they're very healthy and joyful in life, it must have to do with their daily actions of healing and behaving and acting in the world. But ultimately, that cannot be driven away from. If something really feels wrong, you still have to listen to yourself. And yes, the rare person who is able to just go, I just grinded alone, healing myself, corrected all these things, and came out on top and successful. And that happens a lot in these people who, you hear these people who went to prison and grew up in extreme poverty and violent situations where a violent person turned themselves around to a very wealthy person with a good family life. You could see there's still things about them that are not fully integrated. They're not fully integrated to health. Usually don't have a strong connection to nature. Will treat people right in many ways, but are not able to really think in this feminine communal aspect, and are very stuck on that masculine, let me go get out and grab. And if you become successful and you're now making, being rewarded in these millions like these guys are, of course it's going to be hard to reintegrate all these soft behavioral patterns into themselves. So it's key to have total health integration from an earlier state. And then when we are seeking out others from outside of us, make sure they are healthier than you. A lot of times you'll see someone who may have the degrees, maybe certified by the state and these organizations to do what they are doing. But you'll notice your psychologist has a rough relationship with their partner and their kids. They have a short temper. You see McDonald's bag in their trash. They have difficulty dealing with stress, and they cling to beliefs that no longer serve them. So these healers became healers because they were healing themselves, and they did not fully get there. They're not fully integrated. They learned their one little thing. But be in mind, just because that little thing may help you, their lack of fullness will influence you. You want to be influenced by people who have more well-rounded healing. Which brings us to groups. And groups comes before community. If the individuals of community are not healthy, then the community will tend to degrade to its weakest link, unless it does this, right? So there's a lot of intentional communities of people actually going to live with each other off on farmland and all that. And I've heard that outsiders have a lot of difficulty going there. They notice a lot of social problems tending to arise because these people did not fully make themselves safe and secure before they said, let's have a community that's safe and secure. So their little dramas will get in the way of getting the full benefits of that community out. So you gotta, make sure you can socialize in small groups before you go to that momentous occasion. So what do we have to do then? Well, the authors of a book, Tribal Leadership, discuss the power of three. Three, many of you go, oh, power of three, that's gotta be right then. I didn't even know too much about the power of three when I read this book, but it transformed the way I thought. So they use the power 3 to transmute an individual who has unharmonious patterns, which means our behaviors and everything is unharmonious and it's not bringing us to the state that we want to be in, and we're not around the people that we want to be around. And it brings them into alignment to a community that are at our higher stage of development. And that can go from, I'm just used to punching people. These people aren't the most caring and giving, but they're not into punching people. So they will teach me not to punch people. And then I can meet people who are into actually greeting and being nice and handshaking. And then I'll become one of those handshakers. Then I'll meet people who are really into, greeting. Oh, here, would you like some tea, some water? How can I help you? Do you need a place to stay tonight? Oh, then you become a person who is able to do that. Then you'll meet people who are beyond themselves and all about a higher mission in life. Like, well, how can we help you? What is it that you need in life? Because we believe that people need to be healthy and secure in themselves, and that they should have community around them, that way they're not left isolated. And you are able to share who you are with them, and they're able to share who they are with you to bring you up to a higher state where you're just who you are is always helping and healing, whether you're acting or simply being. And that's the highest state of health. Your simple presence. It's not causing suffering and harm in other people's lives. It's not causing any more harm and suffering within yourself. And your closest relationships are not built on that, oh, geez, get away from me. Because you are unhealthy in somewhere in your body. And you're just reacting on that, and not reacting really to who they are as a person. You're really reacting out of love and care and compassion. And they show this within the business, how businesses can bring people up. But it really is as simple as that lesson. If you want to go and join a group, just a permaculture group or a gathering of drum circles and all that, and you're wondering, is this the right group for me? It's really going to be at the stage that I want to be at? See if there's 2 people you can make friends with who are willing to spend more time with you outside of the group and community interaction. These people, you really are blown away with how they interact and behave, and they're so healthy, and they're not interacting in a negative way, or not as negative as you are with the world, that you begin to adopt their common language, their behavioral patterns, and their mode of interacting in a group. You'll become like them. That's how we work as human beings. So those 2 take the 1, and it brings them into this 3 alignment. Then that person who's just been brought in, and one other can go find someone new. And then by bringing someone new in, you're really learning to pull people up, and you're not being pulled down to their base carnal nature. When someone then is acting with a negative stress response towards you, you're not doing that, and you have your friend there who you're like, well, they're not going to do that, I'm not going to do that. They're helping to hold me strong, so we're not pulled down where they are. We're all pulling up. So that's really important when you're joining groups, is that is the nature. Whether it's, as intellectual as I make things, or it's actually part of their heart and core of who they are. And then communities. Just make sure it's going to elevate your total well-being, and make sure you're working with healers who are bringing you into alignment. Check the community for these individuals, and check that they're bringing you up. We kind of touched that in group. The group and communities go really hand in hand, but you need these small groups to be strong, those strong 3s to bring you up to the higher community. But what really makes a community stand out It's that being around these people, you feel this aura, this magnetic field, because we actually all produce magnetic fields. This one is so transformative that simply being there, being silent and alone, you're actually feeling that the best energy from you is getting pulled up. Um, and when you're encouraged to be your best self and develop yourself as an individual rather than completely conforming to the group, and if you're dissuaded from your own individual intuition, that's why you have to be really strong individual before you can join a community. Unless you really find a good one. If they're trying to dissuade you from that, well, like, my heart is telling me like I shouldn't act like that. I shouldn't treat people that way. But they're telling me that I should behave that way. And you're probably not in a community. It's more along of a cult. Like if you can't be who you want to be in every which way, as long as you're in harmony with others, that is not the type of community you should be in. And in our very divided political world, we tend to see one type of ideology politically in these communities, and you'll meet these amazing people, they're healers and all that, and they'll still be like, oh, you voted for that person? It's like, geez, if you think this person is healthy and a healer and you want them in your community and you go, oh, well, you voted for that person or you have that one view, you must be a totally terrible human being, completely discounting that you're also a person coming from love. So those are the types of signs to watch out for. No one should care what your political views and who you're voting for, and what you did in reaction to what, if they're really sensing that you're doing this out of love and compassion, that not everyone is right 100% of the time. Like there should be mutual respect between all your decisions. And now I'm going to read mental, physical, psychological, emotional, environmental. I was going to go into talk about the different professions out there. Here is what I got. Healing relies not on a single practice, but a combination of many. We are complex beings. Healing is going out to nature. Healing is healthy water. Healing is healthy food. Healing is the use of herbs. Healing is the use of supplements, vitamins, minerals, and other essential life building blocks. Healing is movement. Healing is constant self-reflection. Healing is a collection of values and principles to live by. Healing is sound, music, harmony. Healing is breath. Healing is sound, music, and harmony. Healing is physical correction of the body. Healing is spiritual. Healing is doing the work we are passionate about. Healing is gathering. Healing is how we do business, monetary transactions. Healing is how we interact with the world, and healing is the ultimate development of the ultimate self. Healing is a diverse array of practices, and healing is a lifestyle. Now, how do we find that when we're looking for a healer? Oh, geez. How do I find someone who does all those things? And that's a lot of things to take. Where do I start? Do I do breath work? Do I do yoga? Do I actually have to go and go to a doctor because I have problems with my liver? Where do I start? Collection of values and principles to live by? Geez, can I just live on buzzwords? Ultimate self, though. How do we get to that state? Well, where are we? We have to understand where we are. We are still living in a world of specialization, isolation, and compartmentalization. As we our body into, this organ, this organ, this organ, this organ. Let's just treat this organ. Let's just look at that one little compound. Let's work on that one little compound with my special magic pill. Oh, I've got, spinal problems. Let me just treat that. What if it's actually related to muscular? What's related to emotional stress? All these things. Where can we find the healing that we actually need in a world of specialists? Where can we integrate the bits and pieces that we need without going to every single one of these people, and not having to fear who we're like committing our money, our time, and our space to being involved with. How do we do that? Well, let's not be overwhelmed. Let's choose, the help we think we need most. I need to be able to talk to someone about all the woes and worries I have. I need to go talk to a therapist. Yeah, I need to deal with this trauma that I've had in my life. I feel like it's this trauma that's preventing me from coming into alignment. Now, should I just find any specialist? Well, even if we're looking for a psychologist, a therapist, we can connect with a healer who is part of a mycelial network of healers. So you're freeing yourself from a limited scope of expertise, because they are a healer that has incorporated many healing practices in their life. They're eating the right foods, they're doing breath work, they're getting proper water, and they're adjusting every bit of themselves to be a healthy person. They're not just a therapist to make money, but they truly believe in healing, become the greatest individual that they can. And that these people are also then connected with people who work on the body, the mind, in different ways, that they can go, I actually have this friend who has this very healing water to drink, this hydrogen water. This will actually help you. This friend sells herbal teas that'll help calm you down. So we can talk through these problems you have. They're going to help you with that. And you got to always start with that. I'm familiar with some breathing techniques and all that, but here's a yoga instructor who really understands moving the energy that's, trapping us through movement. You can go to these people because you trust that they have your best interest in you, and they're happily give away the resources that could be going to them, to their network, because they know their friends will do the same when they say, yeah, I have this network of people. This will greatly help you on your journey. And I know because I use a complete total health integration. And then you can go and confidently connect with healers. These may exist here and there and everywhere. It's part of my life goals to help create a mycelial network of healers, starting with the ones that have helped me come to where I am, because once I love who I am and where I am, I must love those who got me there. They worked, so I can trust them and help them out and bring others to their business. I'm not asking for the money to oh yeah, pay me for recommend. No, but they just go, you give them your money and resource, because they're going to give you a healing product or service back. But this is it. This is total health integration. Is recognizing the oneness within you and nurturing that oneness and relating it to the whole entire world. And everything that we do is related to our health. Everything we do reflects internally, and then reflects in the way we interact with the world. And the more time we spend around the people who are working to heal all that, and the more time we spend around the communities full of those people, the greater our healing will become, and the greater potential we have to heal others, and then we will grow. We need to have the right framework. Actually, one thing I mentioned was values and principles. People can shout out, oh, community, oh, healing, oh, sound bowls, oh, yeah, oh, come to my group, oh, namaste. But are they really? These people really usually are not healed in their trauma, and they're narcissistic and trying to get you onto things. Um, because they'll never tell you about the values and principles they live by. They will not say, "Oh, I believe in honor, I believe in trust, I believe in respect, I believe in duty to one's country, I believe in respect for people of all different faiths and religions. Um, I believe I need to actually work to have a better environment." And then, more importantly, that you see these people living by these values and these practices. People can say weird, crazy things like, "Oh, socialism, it's about giving and it's an amazing system," but they won't tell you the values and principles that will lead to the outcomes that they want. They're giving you a false hope. Not because that word means false hope, but people are not doing total health integration. Become healthy individuals. They're trying to third party and just put it out there and say, yeah, that'd be all great, but they're not really working towards it. So you got to be careful of those people, being around those individuals. There are a lot of them out there, and I'm speaking because I've gone through the pain of dealing with these people. But really look at that person. What are they doing? Are they willing to sacrifice and risk and go through pain and loss for their values and principles to really become a strong, complete individual? Do you see them hurting other people the way they interact with the world, conscious of it or not? And make sure that they're truly healthy before you start engaging. Make sure they're just healthier than you, because you can just go with someone who's just a little bit better than you, right? They don't punch you, they don't give you a handshake, they don't feed you and clothe you and give you food when you need it, and they're not going to punch you. Well, it's healing for you, and eventually you can go up the chain, the never-ending chain. No one person is an ideal. Oh, that's the ideal person. No, because that ideal person is within. But we can be with people who are becoming their ideal selves. Pick up the patterns and behaviors and lifestyles from them. Thank you for coming in to listen to our podcast on total health integration. Please have a healthy and blessed day. Continue achieving your true self. Peace.